Greetings, Destiny Christian Church. So glad to be with you today. And you are seeing me today because we did not record last week's message because of the sensitive matter. And sometimes when we have in-person only services, that's what happens. And so it means that I usually have to, put something online, like a sermon or, something short like a devotional. And I really want to talk about Mother's Day. And there's a poem that is considered the best poem of all time for moms, and it's written in the 1700s. And then I'm going to give you a couple of things that I think is beautiful in a mother. But the poem was written by a woman named Anne Taylor in the 1700s, and it goes something like this. And forgive me if I'm kind of hacky today. I'm getting over a cold. It starts like this. Who sat and watched my infant head when sleeping on my cradle bed, and tears of sweet affection shed? My mother. When pain and sickness made me cry, who gazed upon my heavy eye, rather, and wept for fear that I should die? My mother. Who taught my infant lips to pray, and love God's holy book and day, and walk in wisdom's pleasant way? My mother. And can I ever cease to be affectionate and kind to thee, who was so very kind to me, my mother? Ah, no, the thought I cannot bear. And if God please my life to spare, I hope I shall reward thy care. When thou art feeble, old and gray, my healthy arm shall be thy stay, and I will soothe thy pains away, my mother. I thought it was beautiful. But I want to talk to you just about a couple of things about mom, about what mom means. And just to share this, mom means a lot to a lot of people. And maybe not all moms are perfect, we know, and some people have maybe experienced trauma with moms. But some have had wonderful moms too. And part of honoring our moms, my mom's with the Lord now, but part of honoring them is, what honor really means is when you don't feel like honoring them, when maybe they weren't perfect in this area or they hurt you in that area. That's when honor kicks in. But let me just talk about what moms mean to us and me in general, what it meant to me, even though my mom, growing up, she had mental illness and all these things. I mean, real mental illness, like real issues. Her brain was deteriorating, but yet she was a great mom and she did great things for us. And she showed me some things that I never knew before. So first I want to share this, that a mother believes in you when others don't. Have you ever noticed that mothers believe in us more, way more than we ever deserve? And there was a famous man by the name of Carter L. Burgess. He was the Secretary of Defense many years ago in America, and he left the job to work for Trans World Airlines, and he was awarded an Exceptional Civilian Service Medal by the Army for all the work he did. And after listening to the long, glowing tribute to him, made him embarrassed and uncomfortable, done by another soldier, Burgess got up and he said this: "I'm sorry my mother is not here. She not only would have enjoyed this ceremony, but she would have believed every word of it." That's mom. In mom's eyes, we could never be great enough. We could never be awesome enough, in her eyes, because she thinks we're great. And we're always the special kid compared to all the other kids. I mean, that's how moms tend to see us. But another way that moms maybe are experienced to us is in a beautiful way, and that is this: mothers create atmosphere, right? A mother creates atmosphere. What happens when mom is not home? Well, the home becomes just a house. It lacks warmth, it lacks structure, it lacks life. When men have the house, it tends to be just a house. I mean, that's a fact. The atmosphere is a lot different when mom shows up, isn't it? Than when dad is there. And when dad is there, it's fine, but when mom shows up, it's like man, things start happening, things start moving. When she comes home, she sets things right. And that's mom. Just think of the sights and the smells and the attitudes that mom nurtured inside of us when we were growing up. That's what mom did for us. And she tended to have keen senses, right? And moms know, they have a sense, like a sixth sense of what needs to be done and when and how. And she'll make sure that you're part of it, right? That you're doing it too. But another thing I noticed about moms, just to honor moms, is that a mother connects with a powerful bond. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a bond more powerful than a mother's bond. It was not men, but women who remained at the cross. That says something. That speaks of a powerful bond, and you find that in every one of the Gospels. That speaks of a powerful bond that women have, but especially moms. It wasn't men, but women who went to the tomb to embalm Jesus, only to find that he was raised from the dead. It was the women. Women get things done. So God help the person who hurts her children. She will be like a bear robbed of its cubs. And this powerful bond that moms carry is also her kryptonite. What do I mean by that? It is what breaks her heart when her children go astray, or when a family member does something offensive, or when her husband wounds her with words. Because of mom's tender heart, because of that bond, because she loves people so much. She even loves them when they hurt her. That's mom. In fact, there's no greater grief than the grief of a mother. And that's why there's something about mom's prayers that is very powerful. But one more thing mom does, I'm going to give you two more things, but here's one other thing, rather, that mom does, is a mother is the one who teaches us about God. That's the key. A well-respected theologian once said, and he wrote great theology books, brilliant, just a genius. He said the most profound things that he ever learned, he learned from his mother's knee. And that says everything. That there's something about a mom that has depth that no book can carry. Moms teach us what good and evil are. They teach us what right and wrong is. Not the schools. The schools shouldn't teach us that, right? Moms and dads. They teach us, most of all, how to fear God. Proverbs 9:10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." Moms teach this to us automatically. Mothers teach us what shame is, what things are shameful and what things are not. She teaches us when to be proud and when not to be. She teaches us when to be strong and when to just let God deal with it. Like the person searching for a pearl of great price, a mom will sell everything she has for the one thing that matters, her family. And that's why mothers are so special. And one last thing I want to give you in this just tribute to mothers and Mother's Day is that a mother never gives up on her lost children. There's something about that it's a tie that no matter what that child has done, no matter how far they've run from God, no matter where they've gone, mom is going to pray. I heard somebody recently say at a conference that God had revealed himself to this certain person, and he was getting them, he was dealing with them about their stuff. And it was the mother's son that she had been praying for so long. And God had told him, "I made a promise to your mother that I was going to confront you on this." And there's something about a mother's prayer that is so powerful. And moms are the embodiment of the parable of the lost coin in Luke 15, where it says, if a woman loses one of them, if she has 10 silver coins and she loses one of them, right, she does not light a lamp, sweep the house and search carefully until she finds it. When she has found it, she calls together her friends and neighbors, saying, "Rejoice with me, for I have found the coin that I had lost. Just so I tell you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. That's mom. Mom will go after her kids in prayer. When she sees them, she'll tell them how much she loves them, how she misses them, how she wants them to follow God. That's why Billy Sunday, the famous evangelist from the last century, he said, all of hell cannot tear a boy or girl away from a praying mother. There was once a story of another man that he had a dream. He had gotten away from God, and his mom was a strong believer. His parents were both strong believers. But his mom was the one that just stood there in God's presence, praying and seeking God on his behalf. One night he had a dream. And in the dream, he saw himself with a thread, almost like piano wire, tied around his waist, dangling over a pit of fire. And in the dream, he knew that it was hell. It was the end of his life. And that fine thread was the only thing holding him back from falling into the pit. And he heard a voice say, "That is your mother's prayer that is holding you back from falling." And then he woke up, and his life changed. So what I'm saying to you is let's honor our mothers while we have them. When my mom was in the hospital for years because of her mental illness, for a long time, I didn't know how to relate to her because the way she grew up, and she did the best she could with what she had, kind of thing. And so I didn't really have a template of what a mother is until I met certain people in our church that really were phenomenal. That through the years, I said, man, that's a mother right there, a model mother. But it taught me how to honor my mom in the last years of her life. And I would try to call her at least once a week and connect with her. And it doesn't matter if she makes me angry or says something that's maybe offensive. That doesn't matter. What matters is that we honor them as they are and love them. So I want you to connect with the website, destinychristianniagara.com. And also, we're on Facebook, and Lori Miller has a great podcast there. And we're on YouTube. So check it out and check out the website for events and different things. So until next time, I'm so happy to be with you today. God bless you.